Today we are going to talk about standard deviation. First, I'm going to show you how we would solve this by hand, and then I'm going to show you how to do it with the graphing calculator on Desmos. Standard deviation shows how far the typical value in your data differs from your mean. When you deviate from something, that means you go away from it. So we were looking for how our data set moves away from the mean, either bigger than the mean or smaller than the mean. Okay, so there are a number of steps, and we're going to walk through each one. The first step is we need to find the mean of our data. Here's our data, 7, 9, 8, 8, and 5. If we find the mean of that, we're going to add 7 plus 9 plus 8 plus 8 plus 5, and then divide by 5. That makes our mean 7.4. And I just got a table right here where we're going to keep our data, our steps organized so that we can kind of walk through them a little bit. So here are our x's, our data set, and then here's our mean. The second step is to find how far your data value deviates from the mean, or how far the mean deviates from your data value. So we are going to subtract those things. So we'll do 7 minus 4. That's negative 0.4. We'll do 9 minus 7.4. That's 1.6. We'll do 8 minus 7.4. That's 0.6. And then 5 minus 7.4. That's negative 2.4. So there is step 2. Step 3, we are going to take each of those deviated values and we're going to square them. Okay, so we square negative 0.4 and we get 0.16. Keep in mind, whenever you square a negative number, you're doing a negative times a negative, so it's always going to be positive. And then 1.6 squared is 2.56. 0.6 squared is 0.36, and then negative 2.4 squared is 5.76. Our next step, we take and we find the mean of those squared deviations, and this is called the variance. So we'll add up all of those squared deviations, and then we have 5 values in our set, so divide by 5. We have 1.84, and then the final step is we take the square roots. So our standard deviation is 1.4. And what that means is that our data is typically 1.4, either bigger than or smaller than 7.4. And if we look at our data, most of these numbers are like within 1.4 of 7.4. Okay, if it was bigger, it would be 8.8, pretty close. If it's smaller than that, it would be 6. All of those are pretty close to 6, right? All right, so taking a look at how to do this on Desmos. So we'll come to our Canvas page, and on our home page, there's a folder that says calculators. If we click that, we come to our Desmos, and we used this the other day when we were looking at some other statistics. So we'll start the same way that we did before. We'll do make a table. So we'll click the plus button and add a table. Then we are going to put those numbers in the X1 column. We have 7, enter 9, 8, 8, and 5. And we want to find the standard deviation. So we're going to click on that little keyboard, come over here to functions. We're going to change it to stats. And we want this one right here that has a P on it because all of these numbers represent the entire population of our data set. This one that doesn't have a P, that would be if we were just taking a small sampling, say we only wanted to know the standard deviation of just a few of the whole population. You won't use that right now. So we want the one that has a P on it. And then we type x1 like we did before. And when we did it by hand, we said that our standard deviation was 1.4. If we round this to the nearest tenth, we have 1.4. So there you go, guys. That is how you do standard deviation on Desmos.